Welcome to Longevity Industries' presentation of the Destiny of Manufacturing podcast. I am your host, Dean Phillips. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Precision Metal Forming Association and the PMA's Educational Foundation for helping us put together this show today. I am so proud to have with me today John Halwick and Josh Schleenbaker from Drone Services. Guys, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having us on. Thank you, Dean.
Excellent. So right off the bat, tell me what you guys see happening here over the next 5 years when it comes to drone services.
Well, I guess from an owner standpoint, I hope we get really busy. I guess I don't know. I see, I think more and more industries are going to start utilizing drones just because of the simple fact, the safety aspect, the cost savings, and then being able to get better usable data for reliability and maintenance programs.
Sure.
What do you think, Jack?
I think we're going to see more specialized drones do certain jobs, and that's not to take away from anybody else's job, but it just helps make things safer by taking certain jobs and making them better.
Right. Tell me a little bit about what technologies drones can do now that we sometimes assume weren't possible or have made safer.
Oh, geez, there's a lot. Like just with what we have, we do our specialty is confined space work, so we can throw drones into tanks and vessels and columns without having to send someone in and still be able to get good data, good usable data. We also do ultrasound testing by drone, so we can fly up and gauge steel thicknesses and stuff.
Right.
I mean, they have everything from, thermal imaging. We see stuff all the time of, now they're using them for firefighting, search and rescues, underwater ROVs. There's just so many areas you can use them in.
That's really incredible too. From a safety standpoint, how does this benefit a company that's looking at doing something like this? Where can they fit in so that they don't have to necessarily look at training? They can look at an outside service that handles drones and say, hey, can you come in and just do these things?
I guess I don't understand the total question.
If you're a safety director from a manufacturer and you want to hire a drone services company like yourselves to come in, how does that benefit from a safety department standpoint that they don't have to necessarily train people and other things like that?
Well, actually, most of the time it's the safety teams love us because of the fact, with what we're doing, it cuts down on the time it takes to, write the permits, have confined space rescue, have confined space standby rescue, just all the steps that go into it. I mean, we're not totally eliminating anyone's job. You still have to send people in to do the repairs or, do some other stuff, but, we're reducing that time for the safety teams or for the customer of where they have to send people into confined or hazardous areas.
Sure. And do you find that this ability then also translates to, let's say, being in a shop and being able to go up on top of a machine and inspect like bearing temperatures and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've been into places where they have fixed cameras at, but they still don't have them, in exact spots, or they might need other areas or stuff where we can send our equipment in and into any area. Our confined space drone is about the size of a basketball. So any area that can fit a basketball in it, we can get into and save them time and, the safety on their employees.
Right. So tell me how you guys got involved in this.
Well, I'm a roughneck from the past. I've been in the gas and oil industry for 14 years and then construction before that. And I was the one that was in, doing these tank cleanings and tank inspections and stuff of that nature. And I was talking to a customer one day and they said, man, I just wish there was a better way. Another company had scaffolding set up all over and equipment all over. And they just said they wish there was a better way to do some of this stuff without having to, have scaffolding and equipment and all that stuff that other people have to worry about, plus having to send someone in. So I just, that's when it hit. Me and my wife started looking into drones. And then Josh and I have been friends for a while, and he's an actual fixed wing pilot that flew drones, and it was just a perfect fit. And we've just been running since then.
That's fantastic. Josh, did you always have a passion for being a pilot for drones?
Yes, and when John and I first started talking about drones, I had to learn a little bit more about the specialty aspect of what we were doing. But been going on 3 years now that I've been a part of the company, and it's been great. Really excited about things we're doing.
That's great. If somebody's looking to see what capabilities are out there for drones for measuring, and whether it's doing like 3D measurements and things like that, what are some of the possibilities that are out there now?
Well, I mean, they can look up online, or they can they can get with us, www.droneservicesmi.com. We help customers all the time. I mean, even if we can't do a job, we point them in the right direction, or else we have contacts all over. We've helped people, from Nevada to Wisconsin to Texas, get them set up with someone in their area to help save them some money, instead of having us go up. And, we could get them in front of the right people if they're looking for a specialty unit that we don't carry ourselves.
Right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, like I said, the internet is great for that. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. But, we ran into that too, where people have lied and said they've done stuff, or, said there's intrinsically safe drones. There are no intrinsically safe drones. And we don't want to see anyone get hurt because someone lied to get a job, so just, do your background checks, make sure everything is on the up and up, and do your own research. And like I said, if you can or don't have time, we are more than happy to help you.
Great. What kinds of things can drones do from an overall standpoint? You can measure things like temperature, correct?
Yeah, we can do thermal imaging. We also do, for one of our customers, we do as-built checks of their facilities at their locations. So we can fly a pattern. We take that, we stitch everything together, and then they can do area measuring, distance measuring, stockpile measuring. Heck, they can even tell you what the pitch is on the roofs on the facilities. So there's all kinds of capabilities. Most of it, a lot of it, drones are tools. And so, you have to look at what project you're looking at, and then you're going to pick the software for that. And then you're going to pick the camera that best suits that software. And then you're going to pick the correct drone, of course, and then it's the pilot.
Right.
So there's a lot, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, little Tommy went up to Walmart and bought a drone and let's put him out on a project. I mean, there's, Josh is always training and updating the rest, just like the rest of our guys. The FAA rule and regulations, everything has to be done through them. Any commercial work, you have to be a FAA certified pilot. There's just so much that goes into it.
Right. And when you look at the the capability of what's required to become a drone pilot. Now, what does that entail for you to do that, and also to be able to keep up with the technology and be able to stay current as well as compliant?
Well, at this point in time, it's taking a Part 107 test, which you have to study for. But it really is much more than that. I mean, you have to stay up every few days. I'm looking on the FAA website to see what are the new regulations, what are the proposals that are coming out. And then I also understand what's going on around me, not just in my bubble, but the airspace and how busy is that airport that I might even be 10 miles away from. So it doesn't affect me from a flying standpoint, but you have to be cognizant of all your surroundings.
Right. Is that also a requirement for altitude as well as distance?
Yeah, kind of a broad spectrum. You have to be, within 5 miles of an airport. Any closer, there's a lot more regulations. You can only go up 400 feet if you're on a flat area. And if you're doing a tower, you can go 400 feet above that tower. So there's a lot of little nuances that you have to pay attention to.
Okay.
And some of our equipment that we have, like the confined space one, isn't just through FAA. We actually had to send all our guys down to do a couple-day training on the unit before they'd even let us take it home. So there, there's always, it's just like anything. If you're going to be good at something, you got to put the time in and you got to educate yourself on it.
Right. Now, when you talk about confined spaces, what we're talking about in general is any kind of vessel that you go into that's limited on size and space and accessibility, correct?
Mainly the accessibility. Like right now, we're working on some columns for a chemical company. We actually are still sitting in the truck from it, but they're 200 feet in the air and 11 feet in diameter. We're able to go into one hatch and get them all the information they need in roughly half hour, 20 minutes, versus having to have someone go in there on rope and harness or scaffolding, or go to different levels and get them the same information.
So when you're talking about things like the technology within drones, what do you think is going to be one of the biggest challenges you're going to be faced with?
What do you think?
I think keeping up on the technology. I mean, it's going to expand, and so it's just giving our customers exactly what they want and what we can do, using our capabilities to the best of our capabilities.
I know one problem we have right now, and if there is anyone out there listening to this and wanting to make a difference in this area, is just the data itself. It accumulates so much data, and having to go through all that data and then, make it usable for the end user, the customer. I think that's where a lot of things are going to go. Like I said, it's not just the sensors and the drone and all that. It's the software that goes into the equipment itself. That's what I think is really going to change here down the road, and they're working on it daily.
Yeah, and there's new technologies coming out all the time for doing things like measuring temperatures, and even more and more of visual systems to compare things against other things, like pick a height and then measure it against something else to kind of give you a better reference point or get more information that you need more applicable. Have you had more companies look at contacting you because, hey, we want you to come in to handle this because it's going to take away too much time from us to do any of this?
Oh, absolutely. Some of them are like that. And actually, they're developing their own program now, and there's a couple of gas companies that are starting to do their own right now. It's just like you said, it's so much that goes into it, and having to designate someone to keep up on all of that technology and everything that goes into it. And it's just like any tool or computer or anything like that. If you're not using it all the time, you lose it and you forget about it. And that's when people start getting hurt, accidents start happening, and things of that nature. So, we recommend that, you call a company like ours, not just ours, but a company like ours that, is always out doing new things, and is always up to date on everything, is always looking into the future of where it's going to be. But, you want to find someone that is also going to help you if you do decide to do your own in-house program, to help you with that process also, which we've done with customers.
Right. Is this technology something that can be integrated so that, like, you guys do 1-year inspections from a mechanical standpoint, going in, like flying over a piece of equipment, do an inspection, then come back 1 year later and compare it?
That's actually what we're doing right now on some, what are those called? The high pipe racks. Above ground pipe racks. We're actually going through right now and doing a bunch of that, and then they'll have us come back in 6 months and a year and just see if it's gotten worse or if it's staying the same. We do that a lot. Yep.
What is the biggest area you think that drone technology is being used now? Is it flying over areas that were inaccessible before, or flying into areas that are dangerous? What is it that drives most people to look at drone inspections or drone technologies?
Well, I think the media gives it bad hype. As far as the planes, you can't fix stupid, and there's a lot of people that do stupid stuff out there. But I think like a lot of people that we talk to, that we communicate with, that they didn't even know that the technology that we use is even out there. So we have to explain it to them. But I do think, as far as like the real estate really took off with it, construction really took off with it, and land surveying really took off with it, just because of the simple fact, or mining too, they can get all their measurements and keep that surveyor or that person back out of the way. All their equipment can stay up and running. And, they get better data than when they're done, instead of, taking a guy's word for it that was walking around taking pictures or had a survey stick.
Right.
They're getting excellent usable data, safer. So I think those industries are really the ones that really push, the drone industry ahead. Like I said, most of the companies we work gas and oil, chemical companies, steel mills, paper mills, stuff like that. They're just getting into it, and some of them don't even know what we're talking about when we talk to them about it. So that's, it's an education process for everybody.
Right. So awareness is probably one of the biggest areas that you're challenged with, is the amount of time you have to commit to raising that awareness.
Absolutely. Correct.
I think, too, that drone technology, as anything above ground, provided similar services to what robots have done in many ways, whereas the robots can do visual inspections from a ground standpoint, the drones can do it from aerial as well as from ground.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely.
What are some of the biggest things that you've seen that companies, or the weirdest things that companies have asked you to use the drones to be able to do?
I really don't think I can think of any one thing that's weird. Most of these companies that we do work for are, multi-billion-dollar companies. So they don't mess around with stuff, and we don't lie to them. If we say we can't do something, then we don't do it. And I don't really think they've asked us anything out of the ordinary, really.
Right.
Do you, Josh?
No.
I think
I mean, you get to places or you talk to someone, like right now we're at the hotel and someone sees the name on the side of the truck and they're, hey, can you go find the deer out in my hunting property or something like that, but and you get jokers like that all the time. But as far as the businesses and everything, I mean, they, just like anything else, if they're going to hire a welder or an electrician, they want to make sure they know what they're doing and they're capable of it. And the same thing for drone. The drone is just a tool.
Right. That's excellent. Well, I want to thank you guys. Thank you, John and Josh. Thank you for your time today. It's been great to have you on here. Once again, we've had John Halwick and Josh Schleenbaker from Drone Services. John is, of course, the owner and our chief UAV pilot. Josh, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure to have you guys here. And once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, the Precision Metal Forming Association and the PMA's Educational Foundation for helping us put this show together. Everybody go out and make it a great day.